Wow, what a move by the Washington Commanders. After already signing Frankie Louvu in NFL free agency this year, now they go out and get 10 times straight running All-Pro Bobby Wagner to be the captain of this defense in 2024 in year one of the Dan Quinn era. This is probably my favorite move of the Washington Commanders free agency to this point. It's a one-year contract worth up to $8.5 million. The $6 million is guaranteed. Man, what a move by the Washington Commanders. I can't wait to break it down with you guys right here on the show. But before we get there, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because I think this is like our 8th or our 9th breaking news video on the Washington Commanders during NFL free agency this week. It's been a wild ride. And you know what? Because this contract is less than $10 million total, they might not be done. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now because, man, the Commanders offseason, they're going on a spending spree and they're getting some dogs here in the nation's capital. So let's get into Bobby Wagner here. 1 year, $8.5 million total, $6 million guaranteed. And what this tells me is that Washington is definitely planning on running a 4-3 base defense this year with Bobby Wagner as the number one, probably Frankie Louvu as the number two, and then Jamin Davis, who has been the number one linebacker on this team for 2 years running, is going to be the number 3 linebacker here for the Washington Commanders, and that's if they keep him. I'd say there's probably a decent chance they end up cutting Jamin Davis, but I actually don't think that. I think they'll keep him as a number 3 guy. But you look at the stats here from Bobby Wagner, these last 4 seasons, all right? If you want to say Bobby Wagner is washed and that he's an old man and he's no good anymore, he's made All-Pro in all 4 of these seasons. Over 180 tackles last year in 17 games played, 11 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 3 pass breakups. He has been one of the most well-rounded and most well-respected inside linebackers in the National Football League for the last decade, consistently putting up high Pro Football Focus grades, putting up over 130 tackles per season, being a good coverage player over the middle, a hard hitter that you really don't want to mess with Bobby Wagner, man. And then also, he is a team captain that has been a team captain with the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams, respectively, for a number of seasons. And, man, I just can't believe that a guy like Bobby Wagner, who's trying to win championships right now in his career, decided to join back up with one of the Legion of Boom guys here and Dan Quinn, the new head coach here in Washington. Grade the signing for me down there in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, I think some of you out there in the audience are probably really excited that you're getting an all-pro caliber linebacker to add to this room at a pretty decent price, I might add. And some of you might be saying, Jack, this team is rebuilding. Why are we getting an older inside linebacker to add to this room? And the reason for that, guys, is because Dan Quinn is bringing in Bobby Wagner on a 1-year contract to set the tone for this culture to be a winning one for the future. Because Bobby Wagner, he knows what's up. He knows what Dan Quinn expects from a leader, from a captain in this defense and in this locker room. And you look at the coverage stats last year. And by the way, keep in mind, okay, with linebackers, the ratings are going to be lower. So you see that quarterback rating, 113.5. That's actually a pretty darn good rating according to the averages when it comes to the linebackers in the league. So Bobby Wagner is still a really good coverage linebacker. No interceptions last year, but he did have 3 pass breakups. And listen, man, you look at the numbers here. I mean, 183 freaking tackles. He is absolutely dominant as a run defender, and you pair that with the athleticism and the blitzing ability of Frankie Louvu, and then also the athleticism of Jamin Davis, by the way. This is one of the best inside linebacker groups in the National Football League, in my opinion. And like I said, guys, when it comes to Bobby Wagner, I think that the main value that Dan Quinn sees in bringing him in here is that the locker room presence that he brings. He's going to be a team captain. He's going to set the tone for all the young players that are in this locker room this year. You're going to have a rookie quarterback, all right? He might not be ready to really take the reins as the leader in the locker room, whereas Bobby Wagner 100% is. All right, so we're going to continue talking about Bobby Wagner, and then also the Commanders made another signing today. We'll talk about that. But before we get into that, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app for a first-time deposit match up to $100 today. With football season being over, it's out with football and it's in with basketball season and in with March Madness specifically this month. And the action on the floor is just heating up in both college and NBA right now. There's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. So get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. With quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So how does it work, you ask? Well, here's how you play with PrizePicks. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Right now on your screen, you're seeing an entry for tonight's basketball action in the NBA. I'm going to take the more on James Harden. I mean, it's just 3.14. That is the lock of the century, right? Then I'll take the more on Jalen Suggs at 7.5 points. That's a goblin right there, which is a higher probability that you'll hit it, but it's a lower payout. And then it's a less on Jamal Murray points tonight, 21.5. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. With PrizePicks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. Again, download the PrizePicks app today or go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at PrizePicks. So here's the thing, man. When it comes to Bobby Wagner, he's going to be an incredible leader in the locker room. Dan Quinn is really going to value that because they don't have like a bona fide leader in the room right now. You're going to be bringing in a rookie quarterback that's going to eventually be the leader in this locker room, whether that be Drake May or whether that be Jaden Daniels. But in year one, Dan Quinn wanted somebody to come in here and set the tone. And then the other thing when it comes to Bobby Wagner here, and the way that he is willing to come to the Washington Commanders, what does that tell you about how he feels about this team? This guy is getting older. We all know this about Bobby Wagner. He doesn't want to go somewhere and just lose games, right? He probably had options to go elsewhere. I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers were interested among other teams, but he's deciding to come to the Washington Commanders and play for his old defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn because he believes in this team. He believes in Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. He believes that even with a rookie quarterback on this team, that Dan Quinn is going to get this ship turned around. And if Bobby Wagner, one of the most respected NFL presences in this league for the last decade, thinks that, I think we as kind of like the lay people should kind of take a step back and kind of say, you know what, this guy might know what he's talking about. He knows what a great leader looks like. He knows somebody that can command a locker room, and Dan Quinn seems to be that guy. What is your one-word reaction to the Wagner signing here? Let me know down there in the comments section. For me, my one word is leader, because this is the type of guy that he is. He is one of the most respected leaders. He is a green dot. He is, I mean, just imagine him in the all burgundy uniforms with the dark visor, number 54, with that C on his chest, the green dot on his helmet. He's going to be awesome here in Washington. I can't wait to see him. He's going to be a great influence on the young players like Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin and all the different guys that they have, and Jamin Davis in that linebacker room, and probably even for the guys on offense as well. Jahan Dotson and the new rookie quarterback. Terry McLaurin is still a relatively young buck. And, you know, I really do think Bobby Wagner for the offense, Zach Ertz for the offense, Bobby Wagner for the defense, my mistake. I think that those guys are going to be your trendsetters in this offense or in this locker room, I should say. And I can't wait to see what's going on. My one-word reaction is leader. Also, the Washington Commanders signed Jeremy Reeves, special teamer, to a 2-year contract. Still don't know the full details there, but I'm assuming it's not anything more than like $2 or $3 million per year. He's really, really good special teamer, but that's really all he does. He does it at a really high level. He's a high-energy guy. He is a great locker room presence, and it's great to have Jeremy Reeves back in the nation's capital for 2024. Are we going to go to the tracker here, Coop? Yeah, let's go to the tracker. Let's break down everything that the Commanders have done, because they have made a lot of moves here in NFL free agency. Okay, so you start off with Zach Ertz. the tight end here, probably the short-term tight end, and a trendsetter on offense. Then we got Dorrance Armstrong coming in here. Really good piece there along the defensive line. Tyler Biadasz, another Cowboy, you get him for a 3-year contract worth $29.25. Frankie Louvu as a really good linebacker, really good blitzer, great athlete, top 10 grader in the NFL last year at the linebacker position, according to Pro Football Focus. Then you get Austin Eckler, a nice third down back at the very least. I think he'll probably be the number 2 back behind Brian Robinson this year. Brandon McManus as a kicker, really like him. He's been a really good kicker in the elements outside for a really long time. Nick Allegretti as a guard, played through a torn UCL in the Super Bowl last year. That guy is a Dan Quinn grinder if I've ever seen one. Cleveland Ferrell, 1 year contract. He's going to be a nice versatile piece on the D-line. Marcus Mariota is probably my least favorite signing, if I'm being completely honest. I like Sam Howell. I would like him as a backup. I think he's a better quarterback than Marcus Mariota, and he's way cheaper. So I think that's kind of wasted money right now, and it means they're probably trading Sam Howell. Dante Fowler Jr., good rotational defensive end. Tyler Ott, your new long snapper, one of the better long snappers in the league. So I've heard. I can't say I've seen the long snapper film, guys. Then we got Jeremy Chin, really good strong safety / linebacker hybrid. He's going to fit really well in this defense that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. are bringing in. And then today, you signed Jeremy Reeves and Bobby frickin' Wagner. And, man, this signing right here, man, I think this is probably my favorite move of the day for the Washington Commanders, or of the entire free agency period, because he's going to be the leader in that locker room. You're getting him for less than $10 million. He might even have an 11th All-Pro season for us next year in a row. All right, this guy is unbelievable as a player, and he wanted to come to the Washington Commanders. I think that tells you that Dan Quinn and Adam Peters has this thing on the right track. That'll be it for today's show, guys. Make sure you click that subscribe button for more breaking news coverage surrounding the Washington Commanders all throughout NFL free agency and all throughout the 2024 offseason.